Going on, guys? Happy Saturday. It's Saturday here in Philadelphia. And this video, I wanted to cover talking about internal states and how your internal states equals your external reality. All right. So let's cover what those two things are. Your internal states. So your internal state is made up of your, let's just say your personality, right? And your personality is made up of your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotions, your feelings, and your actions, right? So that's your personality, and that's the way that you act. And that is what makes up your internal state, right? It's all the thoughts that you have, it's all the beliefs that you carry, it's all the feelings that you have, it's all the subconscious things that we um, humans don't really pay too much attention about. And there's an ice cream truck going by, so you guys might hear that. We don't pay too much attention to our internal state. Your external reality is where a lot of people tend to focus and put a lot of their energy. Right. So your external reality is everything that you see. Right. So it's the house that you live in. It's the environment that you're in. It's the friendships, the relationships that you have, the type of relationships that you have, the money that you have in your bank account. These are all external realities, right? These are things that are happening outside of you, the outside world, and what you're living in. Right? That's your external reality. And a lot of the times, now that we know these two things, most of my life, and I find that a lot of us, especially entrepreneurs, we're always looking to change the external reality. All right. We want to change the external reality. We're at 50K a month right now. We want to get to 300K a month. We're at 300K a month. We want to get to a million a month. We're at a million a month. We want to get to 5 million a month. Right. There's this like thing that we want to change on the outside. We don't have the best body. We want to have the best body. We want to work for the best body. We don't have a great social life. We want to build a great social life. We want to change the network. We want to have high status people. We want to become high status. We want the Ferraris. We want the cars. We want the amount in our bank account. We want it to go up, up, up. We want to accomplish. We want to achieve. We want to have power. We want to have status. We want to grow our following list on Instagram. We want to do so many things. We want to change and accomplish so many things on the outside. And we go our whole lives, our entire being trying to accomplish and achieve and work and strive for these things. And sometimes, and myself included, we were able to accomplish those things. I was able to collect 600, 700,000 in cash and almost got to a million with an online business. I was able to travel the world. I was able to have the lifestyle. I was able to have girls to talk to, beautiful girls to talk to. I was able to have great people around me. I was able to create this environment. I was able to create a team, do remote sales. I was able to do so many things and accomplish a lot of things. Everything that I look at when it comes to my external world or what I've been able to accomplish, I had on my vision board, years before. And so I've been able to achieve these things. And I realized that the the things about changing, so going after, external realities, I realized that the things that I was really able to create, the things that I really wanted that I was able to create, came from me being able to change what was happening inside. And you might have moments where you've achieved things on the outside and you still feel empty inside, right? That's a really common thing that you most likely have heard. Maybe you don't believe it, but being able to, I know for me, the instance where I was able to reach the 500,000 mark, because that was the one thing that I wanted to reach, was the 500,000 mark on Stripe. And for me, it was a very like empty feeling. I remember I didn't even realize I hit 500,000 in Stripe. And this is when I started to realize, damn, like this, even though that's not a lot, back then it was a lot. And back then I thought my entire life was going to change if I hit 500,000 on Stripe. You know what I mean? Like I thought my entire life was going to change. And here I was not even realizing I hit that goal and, feeling the same. And, I realized that for myself, the reason why I built a business and the reason why one of the reasons why I wanted to make a lot of money was that I was making up for the lack of abundance that I felt inside. Inside, my internal reality, my internal state was one of unworthiness, one of lack, one of not feeling good enough. And so what I did was to compensate for that lack, to compensate for the unworthiness and not feeling good enough. I went to the outside world to come up with something, to make something happen, to hopefully change how I was feeling inside, how I felt inside. And when I accomplished those things on the outside, I realized that nothing has changed inside. Inside, I still felt unworthy. Inside, I still felt insecure. And this led me to go down and really learn about um, what this was. And I realized that nothing on the outside world was going to change the way that I felt inside. And this was a huge realization for me because all of my life, I was working to get things outside. I was working to accomplish. I was working to achieve. I was wanting more and more things. And what that led to me was more feelings of unworthiness, more feelings of feeling of lack, of I didn't have things. And this is what our mind does. Our mind starts to put things to tell us that we'll feel better inside if we accomplish these things on the outside. And so we put all of our time and energy and focus on accomplishing those things. But we don't realize is that the mind doesn't know what it's talking about. And the mind has very little understanding of what is really happening. And it will just keep playing those games. And some people go their entire lives chasing, changing, accomplishing, achieving things outside, and yet still not addressing the real reason on why they even wanted to continue to pursue those things. Not achieving the true thing that they wanted, which is peace inside. They wanted happiness inside. They wanted to change their internal state, and they relied on things outside of them to do that. And that's why I want to record this video, because your internal state does not rely on things outside. You may think because their whole life was structured, and my whole life was structured to change what's outside, to change what's inside. What I am realizing now, and what I wanted to share with you guys today, is that in order for you to accomplish and let's say in order for you to accomplish, right, we'll use the kind of the outside world terms. In order for you to accomplish what you really want to accomplish, right, you have to get clear on what you do want to accomplish first. And I truly believe, and what I found out for myself is that I want to feel happy. I want to be happy. I want to be at a place of peace and real peace. And if you think about it, everything that you do in life is to make you happy, right? No one does things and no one achieves things not thinking that it would make them happy, right? The reason why people even still chase after impact and fulfillment is because it's going to change the way that they feel inside. And so everyone's trying to change something inside. And what I'm here to say is that I think the more that we can realize that it's not the outside thing, it's not the outside world that creates that change inside, but it's us doing the actual work of understanding how the things inside change and doing the work to change it. That's where I think all progress and change truly happens. So when you start to realize, wow, this, first off, the realization of the internal state is what truly matters, and making that realization for yourself, and then realizing what your internal state is made of and what is your internal state on a day-to-day basis, becoming aware of what that looks like for you, and then having exercises and having guidance and mentorship and coaching to actually make those changes internally. That is more then powerful. That's when you can create things on the outside, because you can't change things on the outside. You can't have abundance. You can't have wealth if you don't feel wealth inside. If you truly don't feel wealthy inside, and that means abundant, that means powerful, that means grateful inside. If you don't feel those emotions inside, it's going to be very hard for the outside world to give you what you don't feel, what you are not. You're not abundant. You're not wealthy inside. And so, how is the world going to give you opportunities? How is the world going to give you chances? And how are you going to take those opportunities if you don't feel aligned and matched with what you're asking for? And so it becomes this paradigm shift of, oh, wait, so Caleb, you're telling me that I don't have to, do these things and change the outside world and have this kind of social status or, have this kind of money in my bank account for me to feel this way. And that if I actually feel this way first, that the things that I truly wanted will come in due time as long as I focus on changing my internal state. Is that what you're saying, Caleb? And all I'm saying is that I've gone through a lot of coaching. I've gone through a lot of teachings. I've gone through my own experiences, which is an important thing to note. A lot of people understand, they conceptualize this, they talk about it, then they conceptualize and they talk about it. But to actually teach and talk about it from a true standpoint is to experience it. It's to see it play out in your own life, to have your own realizations. And when you do that for yourself, then you start to really understand how this game works. And it is all true. It is all true. The more that I do coaching, the more I see this in myself, the more realizations I make about this kind of work, I really start to realize that it comes down to your internal states. And so if you've been striving and achieving and accomplishing things and working for things on the outside just to change the way that you feel inside, I want you to take a look at what's happening inside and be aware of what do you feel internally? What's your internal state day to day? And if it's one that's aligned with where you want to go and what you want, then you're on the right path, right? And I'm sure you're seeing the things unfold. If you're feeling abundant, if you're feeling the way that you want to feel inside internally, I'm sure that your external reality is representing that. It's a representation of what's happening inside. But if you're not achieving the things on the outside and you're not where you want to be, and you are confused on what's happening when you're doing all the right actions, you're doing everything that you should be doing, the outside world doesn't represent what you want or what you've been working for, then most likely there's something inside that's not working. So the inside that's been shoved down, pushed down. There's a lot of ego-driven things. There's a lot of things that you need to work on. You need to work on those things, and your business will reflect that, right? Business is not just about making money. Business is about doing the real work inside to clear out all the things that are ego-driven, that are not aligned with what a great business could look like, right? And you need to be able to do the work and have the self-awareness to be able to do it. All right, so that's it for today's video. I just wanted to talk about the internal states and how that reflects and determines your external reality. It's a huge realization I've made. Probably one of the most profound realizations I've made this year. And other than that, if you guys are interested in changing your internal states and being able to focus on having practical exercises and practical work to change your internal states so that you can change what's happening outside in your external reality, we have a 60-day transformation, a monk mode transformation. And this program specifically designed, and I've designed it so that you can have the habits, you can have the daily actions, you can have the practices to maintain, to regain control over your internal state, so that you could change what's on the outside. Okay, so if you're interested in learning more about that program, again, we're still accepting students for our first enrollment. So make sure to reach out to me if you're at all slightly interested. We'll just have a chat and see if this is something that can benefit you. Other than that, have an amazing day, have an amazing weekend, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.